Hi everyone, my name is Monique, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play a game that is currently on Kickstarter called Gems of Iridescia, designed by Roberto Panetta and published by Rock, Stone, and Dice Games, who are helping sponsor this video. In Gems of Iridescia, players take on the role of different clans who have returned to their homeland in search of rare gems and the lost Iridescia stone. Over the course of the game, players must gather gems in order to restore ancient relics and earn their right to the throne. This is a game for 1 to 4 players that features tile exploration and set collection. And so today, I'm going to be showing you how to play it. But before we begin, I do need to mention that everything that you see here is considered a prototype copy of the game, which means things are subject to change in the future. For more information regarding the game, as well as the campaign, I've included a link to their Kickstarter in the description below. Last but not least, if you enjoy content like this and would like to see more in the future, please consider subscribing. And with that, we are ready to begin. So if you please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for a 3-player game of Gems of Iridescia. Welcome to the land of Iridescia. Now, like I was mentioning, in this game, players take on the role of various clans who have returned to their homeland in search of gems. And so over the course of the game, players will be taking turns exploring these tiles for their gems so that they can sell them in order to purchase items or use them to restore ancient relics, scoring them royalty points. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most royalty points wins and becomes the new leader of Iridescia. Now, the way that the game works is players will each have their own player board representing their various clans. And so since this is a 3-player game, the 3rd player's player board is off screen. In addition, players will start the game with 2 secret objective cards, one of which they'll be able to score at the end of the game, as well as 5 coins and 1 character figure, which starts off the board. So then, on your turn, you'll always start by revealing up to 2 tiles that are adjacent to your character figure. At the start of the game, for your very first turn, these 2 tiles can be anywhere in the bottom row here. And they don't have to be adjacent. So as an example, if yellow were to start, they could flip over this tile, and then decide whether or not they'd like to flip over a second tile, and maybe decide to flip this one. Then, after revealing tiles, you must choose one of them to move on to. With the exception of a few tiles that are considered wild, all tiles will feature one of the 4 different types of gems that are in the game. And so once you've chosen a tile to move onto, you'll also take the corresponding gem from the supply and place it onto your player board. Now, it's important to keep in mind that each player only has a maximum capacity of 7 gems. And so over the course of the game, if ever you have to take more gems than what you can hold, you must discard down to the maximum 7, giving any excess gems to other players around the table. And taking gems is not optional, so that is a strategic consideration to keep in mind. And now that my figure is on the board, on future turns, I'll always start by revealing up to 2 adjacent tiles that are either to the sides of my character or above, but never below my character. Because in this game, players will only be traveling up the board through 5 different types of terrain, starting with the desert row, through the canyons and the forest, past the ruins, and finally to the castle row, which will end their game. Now, once you moved your figure onto a tile, there are also 4 different types of optional actions that you can take. The first one allows you to mine for additional gems. And so over the course of the game, you'll need an abundance of gems in order to sell them for coins and to turn them in different combinations in order to restore these ancient relics. And so this action allows you to pay 3 coins in order to attempt to gain more of the specific type of gem that is on your tile. And so in this example, as the yellow player, if I'd like to mine for more emeralds, then I can pay 3 coins in order to do so. And so the right-hand side of the board here feature 4 different dice that represent the current market value of each type of gem in the game. Over the course of the game, these values will fluctuate, but they'll all start with a value of 2. So when taking this action, after paying the cost, you'll roll your 2 mining dice. And you'll gain an additional gem for each die rolled that is either equal to or greater than the gem's current market value. And so in this case, since I rolled a 2 as well as a 6, I would gain 2 additional emeralds. And again, you are required to take the gems from the supply. You are not allowed to refuse them. And so if ever you take more than what you can hold, again, you must give away gems to other players around the table. And you can take this action as many times as you'd like on your turn, but you must always pay 3 coins to do so, and you can only ever mine the type of gem that is on your tile. In addition to mining, another type of optional action you can take is you can sell gems of one color for its current market value. Now, in taking this action, the type of gem does not have to match the tile that your figure is on, But they must all be of the same color, and you can only sell gems once per turn. So since I have 3 emeralds, as an example, I could sell 2 of them for 2 coins each, for a total of 4 coins. Although, at the end of your turn, you'll always increase the value of the gem that's on your tile by 1. So alternatively, I could wait for a future turn when the market value is higher. And so deciding when exactly to sell your gems will be a large part of the decision making in this game, because you'll need coins in order to take the next type of optional action, which is buying an item. Now, similar to selling gems, players can only purchase 1 item card per turn, and the cost of the item is on the bottom left-hand corner of the card. And there are a wide variety of abilities that these item cards can grant you. As an example, the Marvelous Minecart will gain you 2 times the gems when mining this turn. As another example, you can purchase the Lucky Libation item for 2 coins, and it'll allow you to re-roll any of your dice or roll up to 4 gem market dice. Now, these item cards provide one-time use benefits, and so you can play any number of these from your play area on your turn as the last type of optional action. Now, once you finish taking actions and before ending your turn, you can choose to optionally restore ancient relics by turning in the depicted combination of gems that are on the bottom of the card. And so as an example, if I'd like to restore the Sapphire Sundial, I'd need to turn in 2 Sapphire gems and 1 emerald. Doing so would immediately score me 5 royalty points, and at the end of the game, I'll score additional points depending on the combinations of the various types of relics I was able to restore. And so in this game, there are 3 main types of relics. We have lore, jewelry, as well as tech, and a 4th type of relic that is considered to be wild when scoring for set collection called Iridescia. Now, after restoring a relic, you'll draw a new one from the deck, and you can continue to restore relics on your turn as long as you have the required gems. Then, you'll always end your turn by collecting the tile that your figure is on and increasing its gem's market value by 1. And so in this example, the emerald would go up to a value of 3. And anytime you must increase the value of 6, it actually goes back down to a 1, crashing that gem's market value. And your collected tile goes into your scoring pile, because at the end of the game, you'll earn additional points for each set of same colored gems on the tiles that you've collected. Then the next player in clockwise order will start their turn by revealing up to 2 tiles. Now let's just say that a few turns have passed and now it's back to Yellow's turn. When revealing tiles, you may reveal up to 2 tiles, but they must be adjacent to your figure and they can never be backwards. And so in this example, Yellow can decide to reveal this tile and maybe reveal another one if they didn't like the result of the first reveal. And when moving, you can choose to either move up to a revealed tile that's in the next row, or you can move sideways, even onto a tile that was revealed by another player. But again, you can never move backwards, because of course our goal is to reach the castle, which is at the very top row of the board. Now, as you move higher and higher up the board through the different types of terrain, you'll also encounter tiles that have additional bonuses. Some tiles will immediately gain you a certain number of coins. Others gain you royalty points that you'll score immediately. And some tiles, such as this one, will gain you stone dice, but only if there's still some left in the supply. Now, when gaining a stone die, you can choose to either use it immediately, the turn you received it, or you can save it for a later turn. And what they essentially do is, when paying 3 coins in order to mine for additional gems, you can roll the stone die along with your standard 2 mining dice. And you can actually continue to use the stone die for the duration of your turn if you choose to take the mining action multiple times. But you'll return the die to the supply at the end of the turn in which you choose to use it. In addition, each type of terrain contains exactly 1 rainbow tile, which is considered to be a wild. And so players can choose the type of gem that they take when moving onto this tile, but it won't affect the gem's market value at the end of their turn. As soon as you move your figure into the forest region, you'll also discard one of your 2 secret objective cards, because you'll only be able to score 1 of these at the end of the game. And once you've moved your figure onto a tile in the castle row, then at the end of your turn, you'll remove your figure from the board and take the highest scoring royalty token that is still available. And this is going to be dependent on the number of players. And so as you can see, the game rewards players with more points if they can get to the castle row sooner. However, players are also in search of the Lost Iridescia Stone, which is a single tile that'll reward a player 10 royalty points for finding it amongst the castle row. So players can choose to delay moving onto the castle row in search of this stone. However, players who have reached the castle and removed remove their figure from the board will now spend their turns removing one tile from the board that is not in the castle row. And once all players have reached the castle, then the game ends and players go into final scoring. At the end of the game, players will score 1 point for every 2 gems that are left on their player boards. They'll also score additional points for the types of relics they were able to restore, as well as for the same colored tiles that they were able to collect. And finally, players will score their secret objective cards. And at that point, whoever has the most royalty points becomes the new leader of Iridescia. And that's essentially how you play Gems of Iridescia. Now, when playing with 2 players, you'll remove a tile from both ends of each row, except for the castle row. This will essentially make the board smaller and increase the competition for tiles. Now again, this game is currently on Kickstarter, so for more information regarding the game, I've included a link to their campaign in the description below. If you have any questions about anything that you saw here, please feel free to leave me a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope it was helpful. If you enjoy content like this and would like to see more in the future, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye.